Hey, happy Saturday. Surprise, it's me. I've got a great conversation with Christian Finnegan that I wanted to share. We talked last night, Friday night, and it was great. As always, you can watch it on YouTube, and I hope that you enjoy it. I am now on my way to Washington, D.C. to be the closing speaker for Glenn Kirshner's Justice Matters event, which I've done every year for the past 5 or 6 years. I know a few of you, maybe even listening right now, are on your way there as well, joining me. Looking forward to seeing Anita and Brian. I know that. And anybody else? I'm excited to see you too, and looking forward to being in D.C. and reporting on all that I learned from there. If anybody's down there and wants to go out tonight, hopefully I'll see Boyle, but maybe I won't because he's jet lagged. Just got back from Ireland. That's Bill B in D.C. But on my way there, and I was also on CNN last night on the Abby Phillip 10 p.m. live show, which they do at the Food Network's like studio kitchen that they have. It was a fun thing to do on a Friday night. I really like Abby. I love television and being on television. I love getting picked up on a car and going through makeup and then saying things on television and having thousands of people threaten me. I do like it. I really do enjoy it, or else I wouldn't be doing it. And often I think that I'm able to make an impact. I have this theory. Everybody has fair, very fair criticisms of cable, political television, and all of the rest. But my theory is go where you are invited almost always. So if Pete Buttigieg is invited on Fox News, he should go. Because if you go into a room, into a space on a media platform of any kind, and you make a positive impact with whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying, you feel like you've been heard by a certain segment of the audience, I think that matters. I think that you have to decide what's worth it. What's worth it? I think that's a fair question. I think there are a lot of fair questions, criticisms about all of these shows and media in general, but I did it. I went on, and it was not great because this guy, Ben Ferguson, who I've known most of my career, who's friendly. I mean, we were hanging out in the green room, which is why Abby Phillip made the joke later that said, by the way, you guys are arguing a lot, being really mean. She didn't say all that, but people could see that's how it was. We were not nice to each other on air, but I've heard that you guys are friends. And that's because during the commercial, Van Nathan said, wow, you guys really went at it. You were so friendly in the green room. And then I sat there and admitted, I was like, that's how you do it. Be a gentleman. I'm a friendly person. I'm a nice person. Make small talk with anybody. But you turn those cameras on and you want to talk about politics, and I think you're a fascist, to say the least, then we're going. We're going. It's like boxing. You could be nice to each other before the match, but once you get in the ring, it is on. That is always the way I've seen it. And it's only the only reason I see it that way is because as a young pup, when I went into those rooms and on those shows, and I wasn't in that attitude, or I was trying to be liked by the person, I would get eaten alive. And I mean, I don't remember exactly when or how it happened, but I know I was unprepared more than enough times to be attacked as soon as those cameras come on, for the person to turn into a bulldog. So I was ready. I did my best, but it was a meek effort at best, because this guy just doesn't shut up. And what can you do? I mean, Abby had to tell him to shut up so many times that it made the top of Mediaite last night, and it implicated me to some extent. But I was actually sitting back while he was talking over everybody. The only person I was ever talking over was him. And I also, when I at one point was arguing with him, I said, Asha Rapanga is right there. She's former DOJ, former FBI. Ask her. Like, don't argue with people who are experts. I mean, I have a lot to say about that hit, but I wanted to just come in this morning and mention that as a way of talking about my thoughts on media, and just giving you a little behind the scenes look and a personal point of view. So I don't know. Maybe that was bored, but hopefully you appreciate it. All right. Christian Finnegan will be a lot more interesting. He always is, talking about all of the big stories from the week and more. He's all stressed out too yesterday because he's in the middle of a move and he's missing a tooth. So I was really happy that he made time for me So please go thank him and subscribe to his Substack, which is newmusicforolds.substack.com. If you like music, you'll love that Substack right there. Go subscribe, pay if you can, because that's one way we can pay him for joining us. Okay, Christian Finnegan, see him live, read a Substack, listen to this conversation with him because it's always a banger. And thank you so much for pressing play and joining me today and supporting me. Patreon.com/Pete Dominic to get a paid subscription. If you haven't already, please do it. Let's go.
Those are unattractive sounds.
Yeah. Christian Finnegan is back. Finnegan Fridays, I like to call it. We go through some of the news and stuff. We talk about our lives a little bit, and I'm always happy to see you. He is in mid-move. He's moving apartment. They've bought an apartment. They're moving, and it's going super smoothly, like no issues at all. It's supposed to be very stressful.
I will jump through this screen, and I will throttle you with both of my hands. It is not going well. It is not. I mean, honestly, if you were to describe it to somebody else, they'd probably be like, yeah, that's all standard moving shit, which it is, especially in New York. But it's just like, we were supposed to listen. I will keep this to 20 seconds. We were supposed to close 6 weeks ago, and then they kept dangling us around because one person wouldn't return a phone call to somebody else for information they didn't even need to have in the first place. And that we were going to have all this renovation done before we moved in, but now we can't do that. And so we're going to have to be living there while the construction is going on and everything. You know, people will tell you X amount of dollars, and then when you actually get the real estimate, it's twice 2X. You know, it really feels like just every day we are reaching into our pockets and taking every dollar out of our wallet, putting it in a little pile, and then lighting it on fire is how it feels.
That doesn't sound that bad.
It doesn't. I suppose it doesn't, but it feels bad. It feels real bad.
At least you didn't have like any dental issues or anything.
Oh, Pete. Nice leading me in. Yes. And to make this week, this has not been a humdinger. And I realize everything I'm going to complain about pales in comparison to what many people in our country are dealing with right now. Say a guy who is tackled by 6 idiot fat head goons for eating in public. I don't know if you've seen that video. Some guy was thrown to the ground by 6 assumedly ICE dudes, or, you know, like more like 10, honestly, because he would not identify himself when they stopped him for eating in public. And there's footage of them like throwing him down to the ground, like on his face, you know, like, and it's every day. It's 3 times a day. And there is a Rodney King and a George Floyd every 30 minutes now. And that is a really good way of putting it. I was actually about to make a joke about how much I hate watching people eat in public, so I'm not against it. And I wish the feds would tackle people that we generally universally think they're doing something gross, you know, someone taking their shoes off on a plane or something like that. Feds tackle them. But the truth is that I can get behind.
This is really bad. And you describe it pretty poignantly. Yeah. There's an abusive attack. They're so gross. These guys with their masks, and often they're like
fathead douchebags. I'm sorry I keep saying fathead, but that's always it just makes me feel like if you were to poke them in the skull, it would just feel like raw beef. Do you know what I mean? Like they're just these dipshit morons, high school football linemen who went into their dad's car dealership business and that didn't work out for them, so now they're members of ICE.
Or, I mean, they're lowering the standards for hiring for every law enforcement agency. They were already pretty low. So, I mean, they're not, and they're paying them, they have a huge amount of money. Like a $50,000 signing bonus is a pretty big deal for the vast majority of Americans that, you know, somebody who would never have considered joining any kind of law enforcement is going, you know what?
I think we talked about this last time we spoke, but they are presenting to these dipshits in brown shirts the lifestyle that they've accused liberals of asking for, of like, free money and just, like all of this, no standards and everybody gets a prize, like the standards for joining this paramilitary militia are basically the standards now for, I don't know. I got to think the standards for renting a car from Avis are more stringent than joining ICE at this point.
Yeah. Well, listen, it's not all bad news, Christian. This week.
Oh, but yeah, you were asking about my dentist thing, but that's what all that led that in. But yeah, I am currently, I should mention, I am wearing a temporary veneer right now. This is how stressed I've been, Pete. I broke a veneer in my sleep. Which is not the first time. I've broken my front tooth about 30 times because I grind my teeth or I push against my teeth, like hold all this tension. And I woke myself up by breaking a veneer, which is hard to do. I've only had it for 3 years. And so I went to have it replaced, but I'm wearing a temporary right now, which keeps popping off. So I have to like glue it to my face like an old person with dentures. And I can't eat. It's so painstakingly annoying to eat, like, because I have to eat soft food and I have to kind of like guide it into like the back of my mouth, and it's I have lost some weight, so that is a good thing as a result. Yeah. So sorry, I'm done complaining now, I promise.
That'll do it.
And I sprained my ankle, but other than that, everything's great.
Everything's great. Moving, lost a tooth. Other than that, everything's great. It's not all bad because James Dobson died. He bit the dust this week. He was a horrible, horrible person, James Dobson. And one of the, he was for corporal punishment. One of the worst things I think he did or said was basically that the Sandy Hook killings were because of gay marriage. But it is interesting to see, and I wanted to just throw this out there, that James Dobson attacked Barack Obama and his family, and did not support him for president, obviously, but supported Trump and his family. I mean, in terms of when we talk about family values, when you think about the Obamas, they really were a role model family. They certainly were for me because, like him, I had 2 daughters. And so you watch the way that he treats and talks about his wife and the way he treats and talks about his kids. No one's perfect, but damn, they were good and still are. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's been married 3 times, hates his kids. He's a dirtbag. He's a sexual pederast. And he gets the support of the, quote, family values. I know people have made this point over and over and over again.
I know. Every once in a while, it backs up on you. All of a sudden you have this feeling of vomit coming up your throat, and the absurdity and ridiculousness of it just sort of overwhelms you. Yeah. But to take their point of, I will just give them the benefit of the doubt. It's like, yeah, Trump has had a lot of scandals, but Obama had the biggest scandal of all, which was being a black guy. That is equivalent. I honestly believe this, and I may have said this, that I think the thing that really broke people's brains is when Obama got re-election. I think the first time he was elected, they were like, all right, well, I guess it had to happen at some point that there would be a black president. But it's like, clearly we're not going to do this again, right? And then they ran Mitt Romney, who in people's minds was not vicious enough or what have you. And then they got reelected. And then I feel like every conservative went nuts and was just like, so I guess there are no rules now. So I guess anybody can be president. So they just lowered their standards so far to whoever could just be the meanest and most brutal person out there. But
it's a really, I don't think you had said that to me. But the other thing I'm reminded by when Obama was president, I just heard this week, somebody was talking about, then there was the Tea Party. They were going through a quick shorthanded timeline of politics in the last decade or so. And then there was the Tea Party movement as a result of, debt and deficit or something. I'm like, the Tea Party movement, I covered it for CNN and SiriusXM. Their rallying cry was take back America. And we all reacted right away similarly. From who? And we all knew it was from the black guy. Take back America. I mean, that was the reaction. And then make America great again. Same thing. It's so obvious. It's so transparent for anybody who is watching.
Everyone knows this except Democratic leadership and the mainstream media. Everyone knows what the game is now. Good faith, the presumption of good faith has ruined us as a country because the Republicans and conservatives in general have not exhibited good faith at least since Bush got elected. I can't think of one instance or one sustained period of time where Republicans acted with good faith and actually promoted the things that they were trying to achieve on the basis of what they were actually trying to achieve. Everything is the DC crime thing is the most blatant example. It's like, oh, we're going in there because of crime. And everyone knows that's not true. Everyone knows that that is a bullshit precept. That is an excuse. That is a reason. And yet, for some reason, or not for some reason, like we all have to pretend that this is a real thing, and that Trump is acting in a rational, good faith way, and that these slugs behind him, the Stephen Millers and the Eagle Ed Martin and all these douchebags, we have to act like these dudes who have been Twitter trolls for the past 15 years, that they are all of a sudden like high-minded public servants, that they have somehow elevated themselves to the level of public servant, when really what has been done is they have dragged down public service to the level of Twitter troll.
Really well said. Although it just reminded me that while you're saying that, we didn't really do justice to the memory of James Dobson. Yes. I know you shared a post with a picture of you holding a bag of dog shit. You notoriously have said on the show that you have no problem with speaking ill of the dead, and you quickly went to social media and you compared him to a bag of shit. What else? Did you want to say anything else about James Dobson and his contributions?
I mean, it is a grim state of affairs when the thing you're rooting for most is the Grim Reaper. Like that is the sunshine that you have to look forward to. It's like, well, they're all going to die at some point. Grim Reaper is undefeated, and I mean, it is cold comfort, but it is comfort nonetheless, and I think that one of the things that is, I don't know if this is a coping mechanism or if it's copium, but everybody's hoping like Trump can't live much longer, right? And I'm not saying any malfeasance. I'm saying natural causes like, the swollen ankles and all that stuff. It's like, I think that is the sort of fingers crossed thing. It's like, well, he's going to die, right? And that is a grim place to find yourself, to where that is the upside. The upside is that everyone dies someday. You know what I mean? But that's where we are.
It is where we are. And I'm rooting for
James Dobson in the short.
I'm so glad he's dead. He was a terrible, terrible person that did a tremendous.
You know what though? Just getting back to what I was saying a second ago, James Dobson is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Focus on the family. Everyone knows that that's not what that organization was about. Everyone knows that was an organization that was designed to further public and Christian, conservative and Christian nationalist policies. And, focusing on the family is the biggest, cheapest con you can get out there, because nobody can argue it. Oh, I'm focusing on the family. It's the kids. And this is something, Democrats, everyone has been guilty of it in various points in history, but it's like at least the last 30 years. I can't even think of the last time that there was a major conservative group that was actually honest about what they were advocating for.
But that's a great point. Yeah. Because it's always some kind of mask. It's always some kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's a really, really good point. The other thing I wanted to certainly ask you about this week was this controversy about slavery has come up as a result of both the fitness guru on CNN, who shouldn't be talking about such things, basically saying, that not all white people were for slavery and it wasn't that bad. Of course, then Trump, what he's been doing with the museums and trying to erase history and all of that. But what it made me think, and I wanted to get your take on it, is as a comedian, as a satirist, as a funny person, there really is something about white folks, and particularly conservative white folks, who are humorless or specifically can't laugh at themselves. And what I was thinking about is this idea that white people are uncomfortable with talking about or learning about slavery, or talking about that white people were the enslavers. Like they can't. There's this lack of comfort around it. There's this guilt around it. And it's, as a comedian, as a hip comedian, if you will, as any comedian,
so hip,
any white funny person, how do you take that seriously? Like, you really can't laugh at yourselves. And more importantly, you can't see how ridiculous and weird and gross it is to be defending and saying such things. It's so cringe to think that you can't deal with the true history of America around slavery because of the whiteness thing. I don't know that I articulated myself, but there's like this a part of lacking humor around it that doesn't give an honest depiction of it. Am I making any sense?
I feel like culture, that there used to be more acceptance of it and there used to be an understanding. The problem is that once you acknowledge something is true, well, then that begs the next question. Well, what are you going to do about it? Like, if I rear end you, it's better if I acknowledge and be like, yeah, I hit you. You were at a stop sign and I ran into your car. But then something has to happen. Then there's restitution. Do you know what I mean? There is reparations, for lack of a better word. And that then requires not just an apology or not just an acknowledgement, but that actually requires action on my part. And so it's better to just say, no, I didn't hit you. Like, that's, because then you can't ask anything of me. And to tell myself that I didn't hit you. Do you know what I mean? And obviously everybody's talking about, like, I didn't own slaves, but we are the direct beneficiaries of a system that was run on slavery. I mean, to hear, these dummies, one of the White House spokespeople talking about this while standing in front of the White House, and I'm not the first person to make this acknowledgement, a building that was literally built by slaves.
Yeah.
To say, think about if the slaves were actual, like, developers or like who designed the White House and had a stake in it, had like a financial, like they would be, that money would, you know what I'm saying? Like, all that wealth that accrued from their labor that has multiplied time by time by time, just by generations, all that generational wealth that was lost. I mean, it's not even a moral thing of like, we should feel bad about slavery. It's like, there is a class of people who did a lot of work for no money, and they are owed, in my opinion, and I don't know, I don't necessarily know if that means cash payments, because that gets awkward or whatever. But I mean, my big sort of idea, my silly idea for how reparations should look is that I think any black person who can trace their ancestry more than say 50 years, because I'm including like redlining and Jim Crow and all that, pre-civil rights injury. Any black person who can trace their lineage in this country to say that past like 1950, their children, for at least a generation or two, should have free college, period. If they hit like a certain basic grade thresholds and things like that. But that it's like not scholarships, that not student loans, not some bullshit, some weird nonprofit that, all the money just dissipates into the staff for the nonprofit. But like any black person who can trace their lineage past 1950, education, I think, should have, at least for a generation or two, their children should get free fucking university.
I love that.
And that's what we should call reparations.
I mean, that would be great. We're so far from it because we're renaming bases and building statues of Confederate soldiers. I mean, white people that make this defense, like they're so sad. They look so pathetic defending it. It's so I'm so embarrassed for them, including those spokespeople for the White House and Trump and anybody else, that Jillian Michaels on CNN. It's just so bad. It's so
I don't know, man. I think they're loving it. I think that there is a thing, that it gives them a boner to lie to your face.
Yeah.
That there's something about the dishonesty. I mean, it's everybody references 1984, but there's the scene in 1984 where the guy's being tortured, and I don't remember what the exact specifics are, where they're like, how many fingers am I holding up? And he keeps saying 2, and they keep like beating him. Or they say 3, and they keep beating him. And eventually he says, no, I'm holding up 2 fingers right now. And eventually the person being beaten says, yes, it's 2 fingers. Cause that's the thing. It's like,
yeah,
I want you to know that we're not being honest, and that that reality means nothing. It's reality is whatever I say it is, So I think that there's a fever that's caught on with a lot of these people where the dishonesty is part of the thrill.
The other thing I definitely want to make sure I'd ask you about is the news from today broke this afternoon that they've released some of the Epstein files, and they released this transcript between Trump's former personal lawyer, now the deputy attorney general, the conversation that he had with Ghislaine Maxwell, who is in prison for horrible crimes against children, one of the most notorious pedophiles in the country. She's now been given a nicer, more comfortable prison. Next, I guess she'll be released.
And she gets to leave during the day for work assignments.
Is that I'm not sure if that's true.
You're right. You're right. That may be apocryphal, but I have
either way, like the idea that MAGA, Trump, I don't know if they're getting away with it. I mean, but it's just so crazy to think that if you didn't think there was a cover up before, I mean, today this transcript, apparently she's like, Trump was never there. I really like him. He's great. Wouldn't any mass criminal, terrible person say whatever they thought they needed to say to have their sentence commuted? Wouldn't most of us say whatever we needed to say to get out of prison? I mean, I just keep thinking about all the worst people in the world, because she's one of them, that are either in prison or that notoriously have been in prison. People like Cosby and Epstein and Larry Nassar and Jerry Sandusky, and the most prominent notorious pedophiles and sexual assaulters and rapers and murderers. Like, would MAGA look away from them getting a lenient sentence if it meant that Trump wins and they get away with it? It's so wild to me that he's able to convince them of anything, including and particularly this.
Well, I mean, it is very convenient to exonerate the one person who can set you free. It's funny how that works. But I'm being redundant slightly, but the game here is, what do I need to give you? And by you, I mean the Alex Joneses, the Joe Rogans, the opinion, influencers in that sphere. What do I need to give you so that you can not feel embarrassed saying it to your audience and still be on my side? Like what is the bullshit story? And again, it's like, what is the bad faith version of this event that we can all kind of pretend that this is all settled? That, clearly Trump just thought we could say, hey, case closed, there's nothing here. And they would all say, great, Trump said there's nothing there, we're all going to move on past Epstein. Clearly that's not true, because again, the Joe Rogans of the world, the Tim Dillons or whatever, they have their own audience to be accountable to. And so they were like, you can't just treat us like we're stupid. And the truth is, of course he can.
Yeah.
You just didn't think he would treat you like you're stupid.
Right.
You get a huge fucking boner of watching him treat other people like they're stupid and laughing at the fact that they can't do anything about it. But you didn't think he was going to treat you like you're stupid. And so now the Trump administration is trying to find, like, what is literally the least we can do to give you enough to sort of conquer your gag reflex about this?
Right.
Like what is the story that we can all agree on that we don't get in any trouble, but you're able to sort of keep your audience?
I think along those lines, though, you would have to then make the argument, see, Ghislaine Maxwell said that Trump was always nice and was never implicated and she never saw him. But then what you're doing is you're trusting a pedophile. You're trusting the word of a pedophile. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, which is why you've seen sort of people flirting around the edges of trying to rehabilitate her image, because it's like, well, no, then we're not listening to a pedophile. We're listening to a victim here, And also, you know, and I saw somebody mention this on Blue Sky earlier that it's yes, she said that she never saw Trump. That Trump had no idea what Epstein was doing, but she also said in the same interview that she didn't know what Trump was doing. Now, do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you honestly believe that Ghislaine Maxwell wasn't aware of what was going on? Like, clearly no, right? So if you think she was lying in that instance, which I think we can all assume she is, I think you have to throw out everything. Not even I think. This is stupid. It's stupid we're even having to talk about this. We all know what's going on here. But we all have to pretend otherwise because the fucking Abby Phillips, I'm picking her at random, you know, the Jake Tappers of the world have to have this image of themselves as I play both sides and I don't show favoritism. And so that means I have to eat whatever bowl of dog shit that they feed us and treat it like it's like a real meal.
Well, I'm going to go on Abby Phillips' show tonight and say just that. Say that.
I'm sorry. That's why I think she came to mind.
I don't care. I'm going to take what you said and say it's stupid that we're even having to talk about this. It's crazy to think for one moment that Ghislaine Maxwell didn't know what Jeffrey Epstein was doing. And if you want to know how crazy it is, ask the actual victims. All of them have implicated her as being the person who recruited and helped groom them.
Or I would refer you to the court case that found her guilty. Like, this is not one of these things where we all know this is true, but this is being litigated in public opinion. It's like, not only do we know this in the court of public opinion, we know it in the actual court. Do you know what I mean? This has been litigated. It has been litigated. She was found guilty of these things. So, you know, it'd be one thing if she was like, yeah, I was involved in all of this, but I never saw Trump there. That's not what she's saying. She's saying he didn't do anything and I didn't do anything either. Right. Which we all know what's fucking going on. It's and people think that this is like I've said the same thing that, you know, I didn't think fascism was going to be this stupid, you know, that I really thought it was going to be smart. But I think if you look back at the fascist regimes over history, they're all pretty stupid. I think that the stupidity is part of the governing, that is part of the fire behind it, is just the sheer silliness. And these people are goofballs and they're oddballs, which is why nobody takes them seriously, me included. And then all of a sudden they're throwing you in a van.
Yeah, Steve Miller.
Steve Miller.
Goofball, a weirdo, his own family has disowned him, and yet he's in charge. Yeah. Did you see J.D. Vance get yelled at in Union Station, and the guy was yelling, "Hey, couch fucker"? Did you see that video?
I did not see that. No, I did not. It's unfortunate.
I mean,
there's so many people yelling at J.D. Vance videos. Like, how do you? I did like the one in England where all the people were yelling at him. It's a whole genre unto itself.
Well, maybe he should stop saying taking vacations. Chris Hayes did a segment on how many vacations, and he went through the dates. He's been on 8 vacations since January, and his first vacation was like 5 days in. So where he goes, he's in public, and he's like,
well, it's a.
Go ahead. I just lost you.
I was saying, it's exhausting, going on the podcasts and tweeting. Oh yeah. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Yeah. He's doing a lot of work.
Am I here?
It's exhausting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's exhausting for him to just be in public.
Yeah. I'm just saying tweeting and going on podcasts is exhausting. Yeah.
Finally, what do you think of the FBI raiding John Bolton's home? I hate John Bolton. I've always hated him. I interviewed him back in the day. He's a warmonger. He loves killing Arabs and wanted to invade every Arab country possible. But yet still, I don't want to live in a country where the president of the United States seeks revenge and just builds a case against his enemies who speak out against him. What are your thoughts on John Bolton's home being raided by the FBI?
Well, I just hope they didn't confiscate any of his mustache-related hair products, because I would hate to see that thing get even more unruly. It kind of reminds me, that classic Onion headline that you see thrown around social media all the time, that the worst person in the world made a valid point. It's like, tragedy, the worst person in the world had his civil rights violated. It's farcical. And I think that in a way, I don't want to call it smart, but I understand like who's going to defend John Bolton. You know what I mean? That it's like anybody who would have defended John Bolton has already has Trump's balls in their mouth. So they're not going to be complaining about it. And you're not going to get a bunch of people on the left. I mean, we'll give it lip service. It's terrible. I will not be showing up to the pro John Bolton protest, though.
Free John Bolton. Everybody at the Free John Bolton protest has the mustache. And that's why.
Honestly, maybe that's like historically be like, hey, when did the big, fat, goofy mustache come back to be a trend in the United States? It's like, well, there was this guy named John Bolton, and he was illegally raided by the FBI, and people, as a show of solidarity, just started wearing caterpillars on their face.
I love that. I love that idea for future history. All right, I'll let you go. Good luck with the move. I know it's a lot, so I appreciate you in here to give us your take on things. It's always very, very welcome. I'm glad that I got to talk to you on a Friday night, and I'm going to steal much of what you said from my appearance on CNN tonight. So thank you.
Have at it. Somebody's got to use it.
All right, there you have it. Christian Finnegan wrapping up the weekend. Thank you very much for being here with me every day, Monday through Saturday this week. And I am very, very grateful to you. I'll be back here on Monday and talk to you about what happened in D.C. and on CNN with you on Monday night. That should be a fun thing to talk about. And hopefully you'll join us at Farm Jam in just under, how many days is it away? September 5th, whenever you're listening to this. And I am very much looking forward to that. All right, that's it. Thank you, John Carroll, for all of the music. JohnCarroll.org. Go support him now. Bye-bye.
When you can't see the forest for the burning trees, you got to stand up. Hey, you've been sitting so long, you got the creaky knees, you got to stand up. Stand up. I think you're driving wheels with leaking grease. Boy, you better stand up. Stand up. Well, there's a whole lot more of us who know what's right. They'll keep right on ignoring us if we keep sitting tight. You got to open up the window to let in some light. You got to stand up. That's right. You got to rise up. You got to stand up. You got to stare the devil straight in the eye. You got to let him know it's his turn to go. See it clear when all you hear is a lie. Don't get up off of your butt, get down off of your fence. Even if it ain't a very friendly audience, well, they'll begin to listen when you start making sense. And you stand up, stand up. No need to point your rifle to defend your town. Just stand up, stand up. You know they can't deny you what you're laying down. Boy, you better stand up, stand up. Show your face of every color, yellow, black, red, and brown. She's the place where every lost child will finally be found. There's only one thing to do before we stand our ground, and that's stand up, stand up. Well, the founding fathers saw a land for all. They had to stand up, they had to stand up. They had a keen imagination for a crystal ball, drawing all the plans of a stand up. But all they had to go on was the time they were in, with other causes for laws, and since they weren't even sin, they knew that change was gonna come before the change could begin. They had to stand up. All right, they had to stand up. We got to stand up. We got to look the devil square in the eye. We gotta let him know it's his time to go, and make it clear when all we hear is a lie. Why you lying awake wondering where the money all went? It'll be the cost of freedom that'll go unspent. You can see him flee the scene of that experiment if you stand up. Alright, we got to speak up, we got to reach up, and raise your voice in every way you know how. Don't be toes up, you got to show up. Ain't no better time to do it but now. No need to pledge allegiance to no wanton tribe. Rise up, show obedience to the voice inside, and listen well and hear